Hello, gorgeous. It's time to bake. That's why I have all my measuring spoons out because when I'm cooking, I just wing it more. But when you're baking, you have to be very precise. Hi, I'm RJ. Welcome back to Keto Over 50. I am so excited to share this recipe with you. It's for Keto Almond Ricotta Cake. And I will tell you this, I made it. I had friends for dinner and I made it and I served it for them with some strawberries on the side and a little whipped cream. They asked me for the recipe and they were not on keto. So that's how good this is. I want to thank Carolyn from All Day I Dream About Food. She is a genius because most of her, every recipe I've tried of hers, I shouldn't say most, every recipe I've ever tried of hers is just banging. So good. And I want to share this with you in case you haven't discovered her channel yet. So I'll link to her channel down below in the description. So we're going to start out. This is so easy. And the hardest part on this one, I love to point out the hardest part, was really lining the pan, getting it ready to go. It's a springform pan and you grease it. I used butter, of course. Do you know me yet? Of course I use butter. Use butter, and what that does, even though you're going to use parchment paper, is it's going to help the parchment to stick really flat to it on the sides, that it is really in there and it's stuck. And then you grease the parchment after you put it in. And I've found that these little paper binders, they really help. I have a big bucket of them here, and they really help to keep the parchment where it belongs. Very easy. You can get them in an office supply store if you don't have any at home, okay? So we've got the pan all ready to go. That was the hard part. Everything else is just a breeze. So we're going to start with the dry ingredients, 2 cups of almond flour. And yes, I do follow a recipe when I'm baking because your salt and your baking powder or soda, everything has to be exact, or it's not going to rise. It's not going to turn out the way it should. So we've got the pan ready. It's a 9-inch springform pan, by the way. And then we have protein powder. Now, she says use whey protein powder. I am using egg white protein powder because I like it better and it's unflavored. And then baking powder, which this is different, 2 teaspoons. It's the only recipe I have that asks for 2 teaspoons of baking powder and salt. And the salt, I thought I had it here. Nope. The salt is a 1/4 teaspoon, which is almost like not even worth measuring. So, you know, if you don't add some salt to a recipe like this, what it does is it helps it to rise. When you use baking powder, you almost always have to use a little bit of salt as a trigger to get the mix to rise. Okay, and then we're just going to blend these with a little whisk. Make sure that's all mixed together. And then we're going to our wet ingredients. So then in the big bowl, we're going to beat the butter, which is a 1/2 cup of butter. And the sweetener, I'm using allulose instead of swerve. And this is 2/3 cup. So again, you know, you have to be very precise. However, I would normally do this and level it off. So I'm absolutely getting 1/3 cup. But if you've cooked with allulose, you know, it's not quite as sweet. So I'm going to fudge just a little bit and make it a heaping 1/3 cup. So 2/3 cup swerve. Beat the butter and the sweetener until creamy, then beat in the ricotta until well combined. So butter, this would be the butter that I melted. This is so funny. My oven melts butter or softens it, and I did not know that for 4 years. One day I was looking at the display panel, and I'm like, what is this? Yeah, totally didn't know. There it is, soften or melt, butter. That's that. Sweetener until creamy, beat in the ricotta until well combined. And this is 1 cup of ricotta cheese. I thought that was coming up to tag me. I jumped too quickly for it. I have a tendency to take the beaters out of the bowl and set them down before they're done turning off. You'd think you'd only do that once, right? Nope. Okay, so that's just beautiful. Absolutely beautiful with the ricotta. Now we're going to beat in the eggs. They're at room temperature. One at a time, which is another rule I like to break. I think if you were maybe making a souffle or a mousse or something very delicate, it's super important to do those things one at a time. But I'm a rebel, but I will follow recipe. Okay, so almond extract, 1.5 teaspoons. So I'm going, I love this one. I'm going loosey-goosey again. I have my 1 teaspoon. Oh, and you know what? In home ec, in 9th grade, they taught us never measure over the bowl, because what happens if I go like this and way too much of it spills out into the bowl? But everyone I see today does it right over the bowl, but you should always measure away from the bowl so that if you do mess up and pour way too much in, you haven't ruined your batter. That's a great tip. And I learned it so long ago. So very long ago. And we want to scrape down the sides. I hope if you cook, you really appreciate the steps along the way and know what looks good as you're going and appreciate it. It's just, there's 30% of Americans don't know how to cook. I don't know about the rest of the world, but I read that and it freaked me out. So I want to make sure that if you want to cook, I can make it as easy and simple as possible for you. Okay, this next step is as easy as pie or cake, right? And it's add the almond flour. And it's interesting, they don't say do it a little at a time, but I'm going to. Just because when you add a bunch of dry ingredients to wet ingredients, you can expect them to go flying if you're not careful about it. There we go, that's enough. The rest of it can go in there. This cake is so good. If you're enjoying the content, I hope you'll like and subscribe and share with your keto friends. This recipe, though, you could share with anybody. They wouldn't even suspect that it was keto, except that you use alternative sweetener. So that's the batter. And when we finish today, stay tuned to the end, because I have a special opportunity for you. I want to know what you want. So I would really love to read your comments, and I will come up with whatever you need, a recipe or advice. What's your hardest part about this journey? So stay tuned till the end. So we're just going to pour the batter in the prepared pan. I know you're looking at the bottom of the bowl right now, but I will show you inside the springform pan in just a moment. There we go. Get it out of the way. And you just want to spread it out evenly along the bottom. It smells so good. It has that almond extract in it. And it's just, the ricotta makes it so moist. This is, I'm telling you, you know, when you make a recipe and you go, okay, how hard was that versus how good was it? And if it's really, really good, that's just a no-brainer. You keep that, you print it out and you put it in your special notebook. The last step is a 1/4 cup of sliced almonds. And she says, spread the batter in the prepared pan, sprinkle the top with sliced almonds, bake 40 to 50 minutes until golden brown and the top is firm to touch. And that is exactly what I'm doing now, is sprinkling these almonds along the top. And you don't want any big piles. I know, I just dropped a whole handful right there. So you just kind of want, so whoever gets a slice of cake is sure to get some sliced almonds. This is so Italian. I just love it. And when you're on keto, I don't know about you, I have such a sweet tooth that when I find a fabulous keto recipe for a dessert that's a keeper, and this is 5.8 carbs per serving, and it says it makes 12 servings, and that would be 5.8 carbs, and fiber is 2.3. So your net carbs are 3.5. Anyway, look at how gorgeous that is. And it's going to get a golden brown top that is just incredible. And the very best thing about this cake, you saw how easy it was. Dry ingredients, wet ingredients, top it, put it in the pan, and it's done in 40 to 50 minutes. And I seem to recall the last time I made this, I came in the middle, about 45 minutes. The timer just went off on this fabulous Italian almond ricotta cake, and it is done. Look at this, how beautiful. It's a glorious golden brown on the top. You can see here the little almonds on top make it so pretty. Now the hard part, I'm going to have to let it cool a little bit. As we wait for that, again, think about any questions you have for me. You know, I do life coaching, but if you want just a question about keto or getting along with other people who maybe don't understand, I'm not a doctor, you might be, but I don't want to tell anybody what to do. I'm here for you when you decide that you want to do keto and you want to up level your recipes. So if you have something that you love, and you want me to try and keto-fy it, let me know in the comments. I really appreciate your support. Please give the video a like, a thumbs up, like it, share it with your friends, and subscribe and hit the bell so you find out when I post new videos. Okay, so I'm going to take off the little paper clips, paper binders they're called. Got bigger ones for bigger pans. And you know, every time I've made this cake, it has turned out absolutely perfect. 325 for 40 to 50 minutes, depending on your oven. It's so easy. The cake has cooled enough to cut it, kind of, sort of. I'm in a hurry to taste it. Isn't that just gorgeous? You could be so proud to serve this for any gathering. And I'm telling you, my friends were not even on keto and they asked me for the recipe. So I printed out a copy for them. It was just wonderful. I have my beautiful Diana Carmichael silver cake cutter, which is just elegant. I love it's got a serrated edge so you can cut the cake and then it's flat enough that you can lift it. Oh, look at that. It's just beautiful. I'm going to put this on my clear dish to match Grandma's cake plate. And I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to get fancy. I'm going to put some sour cream. Ew. Some whipped cream on the side. Whoa. And if I had company coming, I would whip up whipping cream and make it fresh that way. And then you can either serve it that way with some fruit, or I'm going to spill it all over the counter. You like that? I'm going to put them on the whipped cream and the cake is what I was going to do. Oh, I have these giant blueberries from Peru that I got at Sprouts. So there we go. Who wouldn't want that for dessert? Well, maybe not quite as messy as what I've done to it. All right, so let's see. Oh, it's just, I don't want fruit in the first bite. I just want cake because people love cake. Wow. You have to make this. All you need to buy is ricotta cheese. And you probably have almond flour and alternative sweetener like erythritol or allulose in your cupboard. You know what I love about it the most is it's not too sweet. Whipped cream on my face. It's not too sweet. It's not dry. It's not like a semolina cake or a cornmeal cake. It is a sweet cake. Here, it's just perfect in every way. And I have a sweet tooth. I've said that before. I love a little sweet something after dinner. And this is incredible. And I'll tell you what, too, it freezes really well. I put it on Glad Wrap or press and seal. I wrap it up tight, and then I put it in a food saver bag. I freeze it first. When you go to freeze something soft, before you put it in the food saver bag, you freeze it so it's hard. Then you put it in a food saver bag, and then you suck all the air out of the food saver bag. And you can put that in the freezer for 4 months, 6 months. Although when you see it, if you could resist that long, when you see it, you're going to be thinking, I should take that out of the freezer now. So this is fantastic. Let me know what you think. Again, if you have any questions, I would love to help you, whether it's making a special keto recipe or asking how to conduct yourself in certain situations, being on keto. I think, together we can help each other. It'd be great. I love that you are enjoying my recipes. I love the comments. So like, comment, share, subscribe. I really appreciate your support. I love you. You are beautiful and you are taking care of yourself. You're in the small percentage, the top percentage of people who want to be healthier, happier, have a better life. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate your time. This is RJ for Keto Over 50. See you next time.